Hello and welcome to the How to Use Your Tarot and Oracle Card portion of this class. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. We're going to be talking about how to use and kind of a little bit what the difference is between tarot, your typical tarot cards, which will have a major and a minor arcana in it. So things like, who is this guy? The Emperor. And oracle cards, which are not tarot cards. And there are many different kinds. So for example, this one here is called the Work Your Light oracle cards. And you can see inside it comes with a little guidebook, and the cards are very different from tarot. So they're going to just have other guidance type information in there for you. So like this one is deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. Or there's star seed, what lights you up. Just all sorts of different, kinds of things. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. So really beautiful. Just really beautiful little tidbits of, very supportive. So I would say that oracle cards have a way of being very supportive. So with that said, let me go ahead and move us into the this part of the class. Okay, how to use tarot and oracle cards for the honesty section. So the very first step you're going to do before you ever start pulling them or flipping cards over or trying to get a reading is you're going to want to make sure that you cleanse and prepare your entire space. So there are some really popular forms of doing this. One of the first and foremost popular is using burning some kind of what are these? So this is a sage bundle. Sage is very popular to burn. This is an older one, so it's kind of falling apart because it's been used a lot. But it's like an herb or a spice. So a lot of people will burn some kind of herb or a spice. You can also burn different types of wood. For example, one of the more popular types of wood to burn is Palo Santo. So this right here is a Palo Santo stick. And Palo Santo it comes from a tree in I believe it's like Brazil or somewhere in the southern hemisphere. I'm not quite sure. But it's called Palo Santo, and you'll want to look into each one of those different types of things that you can burn, depending on if you have anyone in your family who has allergies or struggles with any kind of smoke in the air. Because if so, that will help kind of guide you toward the right cleansing modalities for you. I tend to use Palo Santo a lot because I have a husband who's really allergic to sage and other spices and herbs that you can burn, and the Palo Santo seems to not bother him. So that's why I use that one. It's a lot lighter of a scent or a smell than sage is. So what you're going to want to do with that is, for example, if I was going to start pulling, if I was going to work with one of my sets of tarot cards, so let me go ahead and pull us out of this. Oops, sorry. Let me pull us out of this really quick. And that's cleanse so that I can show you here in person. There we go. So if I were going to I wanted to pull a tarot card. I wanted to do a tarot card spread. What I would do is I'd make sure first that my space, which is this area that you see here, this is where I do all of my spiritual work, tarot, oracle card reading. This is where I call on spirit guides and all sorts of awesome, wonderful, amazing things happen in this room. But before I do any of that, I will usually grab I'll usually light a candle, and I'll grab some of my Palo Santo stick and I'll light it on fire. And because you don't need the fire, you can get that from your candle. What you want is the smoke. The smoke is what's cleansing. So you light on the fire until it smokes, and then once it's smoking, then you're going to run that smoke all over and around your cards like this, all around your cards. you're going to run that smoke all around you. So I like to do it under my arms and even especially under my hands, because my hands, this is where all the magic happens. This is where the cards get touched and pulled and used and played with. So all over this way. Sometimes I'll do a few passes over my head, usually going in a clockwise rotation. And then I'll go all the way down my legs and back up and like that. Now there is another cleansing modality that is one of my favorite to use because, again, I do have a spouse who is allergic to a lot of like burning type products, and that is through the use of singing bowls. So here's a singing bowl. I hope that comes across really nice. Usually it's really hard unless you have a specific microphone to pick up all the pitches. It's very pitchy and tonal, so it comes across usually really like not very pretty online. But so I'm hoping that yeah, it's a singing bowl, and I have a mallet that comes with it. And what I'll do is I will just play my singing bowl. I actually have two other ones. I'll just play them throughout my entire space. And if I really feel like my cards need a really thorough cleansing, I'll stick them inside of my bowl, and then I'll play my singing bowl. And here's the thing that is really neat and unique to singing bowls that you don't quite get from cleansing just with smoke. And that is, smoke is very clearing and cleansing, but it does not charge. When you use sound vibration, it simultaneously cleanses and charges at the same time. So I oftentimes will prefer to use that. All my jewelry pieces I like to put inside my singing bowl and play my bowl. All my stones I like to put inside my singing bowl and cleanse them that way. It's just very, very effective. And then my space is all nice and charged as well, so I don't have to work at doing that part. All right, so let's go ahead and move on now to the next one. Okay, shuffling your deck. So once your space is completely cleansed, you have it all prepared, you're going to pick up your deck and give it a shuffle. And you can shuffle however you feel intuitively inspired to do so. Like sometimes that just means for me, like moving cards around. I'm horrible at shuffling, but that has not made me bad at tarot reading. In fact, I'm very good. And I don't say that to be like puffed up. What I'm saying here is that our intuition plays such a tremendous role in what we're doing here that you don't have to be the best shuffler. You don't have to be the best, at getting your cards in just the exact right position, because if you have your intuition guiding you, you could pull just about any one of these cards, and the correct, what meaning is supposed to come through for whomever you're pulling for, whether it's you or someone else, is going to come through. So you just shuffle them however you feel pleased to do so. So this is just kind of, another way that I love to shuffle my cards is I will literally toss them out onto the table and then just go over them over and over and over like this. And then I'll stack them back up in one big stack like this. And I'll stack them in the way that they want to be stacked together. Because it's really interesting. As you put them back together, sometimes you can kind of tell, like, if I have three separate stacks here, this part of the stack wants to go behind this stack. And this part of the stack wants to go in front of this stack. And this part of the cards wants to go in front. And I can just, I can feel it. I get this inkling, this like tingling in my fingers and my hands. And it just I just know that they want to go back together in this particular way. And it's so that when I go to use them or pull from them, the correct cards are available for me to pull from. And the same goes for you. And you would do, again, the same thing for pulling from Oracle cards. So it's not different. It doesn't change just because it's Oracle versus Tarot. Okay. And then you can also lay the cards out in front of you face down and run your hands over the top of them, feeling into which one is calling to you. And that's when you're pulling a card. So yeah. All right, so then you're going to decide what spread you would like to use. So in tarot and oracle cards, there are many different spreads you can do when searching for inspired answers. For example, there's a one card spread where you pick a card for the day and then throughout that day you connect with its meanings. There are also 3-card spreads, which are more common and are generally used for past, present, and future. So how you would use or work with a spread like that is that you would ask a question like, if I take this job, what possibilities are in store for me? So the first card you would pull would show you where you have been in your job situation. The second card would show you where you are in your job situation. And the third card would show you what direction you're headed in if you take that job. So you can just draw for the future, but it is a lot more effective to see the bigger picture when making these larger decisions. And the reason for that is because you might be headed in a really great direction, but it's hard to really take good stock of your level of your improvement and if you're improving if you don't see where you've come from. Okay, so there are spreads that even go up to 14 cards pulled in one go. And those are spreads that are for like finding your purpose or mapping out your life. So very effective and very powerful. I'm going to stop again right here for just a moment because I want to show you guys. I want to talk about a book that is really, really cool. I very highly recommend it. It's called Everyday Tarot by Biddy Tarot. Her name is Bridget Esselmont. And she actually has 2 books that are just really good especially when you very first start working with tarot. They're just great companions. So Tarot Card Meanings and Everyday Tarot. Everyday Tarot I feel like is especially good because you can find tarot card meanings online. You can find them, find books like that in a store. But this Everyday Tarot book, especially for beginners, just has so much to offer. And the reason for that is because she has a lot of different tarot card spreads that you might pull, like, how do I know if I should take this job? Or how do I know if I should continue on in a relationship? Or what's my purpose in life? Just really, really hugely important questions. And she also gives amazing explanations into the different suits in the cards. So there's a major arcana and a minor arcana, and we do talk about that a little bit more in detail. She gives example readings, the no spread. So here's one that's called the no spread. Oh boy, that's really white. Hold on just a second. Here's one that's called the no spread. And I'll just read to you what that means. The no spread is a fun, flexible, and dynamic spread, perfect for all kinds of readings. It's called the no spread because it has no predetermined spread positions. Instead, the previous card determines the positions. So you draw the first card, interpret it, and then create the next position from that card. So what you would do is you pull a card, you ask a question, pull a card, and then based off of that card, you would ask another question and then pull another card. So then you just keep doing this. So it's not like you have a specific spread that you're doing. So that's why it's called the no spread. Anyway, it's just so many. She just has a lot of great, excellent examples in here. Great things to follow, like, daily tarot card, how to do a daily tarot card spread. Anyway, just a lot of wonderful, wonderful things in here. Long-term relationships. This is the relationship. Is the relationship going anywhere spread, just really, really fun. And as you establish and develop more of a relationship, now it sounds kind of funny, but more of a relationship with your cards, and you kind of start to go in, you start to understand their deeper meaning, and you start to connect with that deeper meaning. You will begin, it begins your relationship with your intuition, or it extends it and continues it if you already have a good relationship with your intuition. And as you extend that and you begin to trust and draw on your intuition, really your intuition is what tells you the answer. The cards just validate what you already feel to be true inside of you. So that's just something really important to keep in mind, is that We're not looking to learn something that you don't actually already know. It's already all within you. Okay, and then step 4, what do the cards say? So the fourth step after you pulled a card cards is to interpret the messages and find ways to integrate those messages into your daily life so that you can shift yourself, even if it's ever so slightly, into more alignment with your higher self and purpose. That's the whole point. That's why we do this. We do this so that we can shift ourselves energetically more into alignment and get more into the space that is right for us. So that's the point. So if we're going to pull cards and it's going to give us messages and interpretations, but we're not going to listen to them, or we're not going to try to figure out how to integrate those or shift ourselves to be more in alignment so that we're centered here with like all of our chakras are aligned and they're connecting and talking to each other. If we're not going to do that, then this isn't going to improve your life. And then over time, you're going to draw tired and frustrated and begin to feel like it doesn't work, or it's not real, or there's something wrong, or it's not true, or, all these kinds of things. And really, it's just because there's a shift that needs to be made. That's the hard part. The hard part isn't trying to figure out what the cards are saying or trying to tell you. You already know that in the depths of in who you are, in your depths of your soul, in your intuition. You already know the message. The hard part is then coming into alignment with that message. Sometimes it happens in a snap and it's like, I just needed to know. And now that I do, good, that was an easy one. But a lot of times it means, this is life transformational. This is a transformation of life that's happening here. So I have a grid board that's a butterfly on it, which stands for transformation. And I always think of that butterfly grid board every time that I do any kind of tarot or oracle card readings for others and myself, because that's the point. That's what we're doing here. We're asking for some validation for our intuitive sense that we already know to help us make that shift so that our life is better now than it was yesterday, and that every day it's a little bit better than it was the day before. Okay, so that's how you do a basic tarot and oracle card draw. One other thing that I would like to mention, I didn't mention it in the beginning, although it is in the thing. In fact, let me show you. I'll show you where it is. Go back to here. And I'll show you, I think it's on the second or first one here, is cast a circle. So I didn't really bring that up at the moment when I was talking about this page, because it's not always necessary, but I did want to come back to it and offer it as a possibility. So a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, every time that we do any kind of divination work, someone's going to be present with you, whether it's a spirit guide, whether it's if you are into angels or family members, or if you have an attachment, or whatever it may be, someone or something is going to be there. It is most likely going to show up whenever we dip our fingers out of this world and into other realms, which is what we do when we do this work. So another really protective, that's why we cleanse our space before we do this, is to rid all of the negative energies and only allow in the ones that support us in that moment. So another thing that you can do to add to your protective qualities of your space while you do this work is to do what's called cast a circle. And casting a circle is where you take some sort of like a wand type of tool, usually made out of some kind of crystal like quartz, or selenite is a really great one because it is automatically cleared and cleansed all the time. It's a cleansing stone and it doesn't need to be cleansed. So you don't have to worry about any negative energies, being coming into contact and staying with that tool if it's made out of selenite. So I have a big piece of selenite right here. So let me go ahead and exit out of this for you. I'm doing a lot of exiting and a lot. So let me get back to here. So I have this selenite tool this selenite tool right here is what I like to use when I do what's called cast a circle. And what you're going to do is you're going to point it outward. And you're going to go in clockwise motion, so to the right, to cast your circle all the way around you like that, ending again in the front where you began. And then you can put it down. And what that does is that creates a barrier, a boundary around the area that you have cleansed as the space that you are going to now work in. This is really, really important because anything that does not serve your higher purpose or your highest good at that time when you do this, you get to say, you're not allowed in. You're not allowed here right now. Right now I'm going to do this work and you do not get to be here. And then you also get to invite in other things to come in and be with you. Right now I invite my spirit guides and my deceased family members, so-and-so, and whatever other people feel drawn to come in and work with me and communicate with me right now, that is for my highest good. And then you would cast your circle to help bring those people in and then create this protective barrier around you and them so that they can assist you while you do this work. The one thing that is really, really important that you're going to want to remember is that when you're all done with everything, you need to open that circle back up. You need to let it go. So now I'm moving in the opposite direction to the left to open that back up. So you've cast a circle, you've put this orb around you, and now you need to release that. You need to remove that orb. And that is so that anyone who came to assist you has the permission and the freedom to freely now go and move on to the next thing of wherever they need to be or go. And if it's someone like your spirit guides or a family member who's with you all the time, that's fine. They're going to stay with you. But you still need to remove that circle. Just anything else it just makes it really challenging for things to come through and for things to go. And there needs to be able to be an exchange. It's almost like a breath. They're like lungs. They need to be able to breathe in and they need to be able to breathe out. And if we don't allow this exchange of energy to happen, then things will get really stagnant. A lot of times people will be like, man, it was a really great tarot reading or oracle card reading. But then things got really stagnant. And that's because that circle they probably forgot to reopen that circle. So yeah, all right. So we've covered, these are just the absolute basics to doing these card pulls. So, oh yeah, I wanted to mention one other thing. Oftentimes when I'm doing some kind of divination work, I like to have with me specific crystals. So this is my selenite bowl with my crystals in it. I've got 7 in here. They resonate with each chakra on the body, and we have these chakra points that are crucial to our energetic health and wealth, and they infiltrate into every layer of our system until it eventually finally reaches our physical body. So I like to have specific crystals out with me, and depending on what you're pulling for will kind of tell you what kind of crystals you're going to want to have with you and on hand, which I believe we actually talk more about later on in this section. So yeah, anyway, just some really fun ones I thought I'd share with you. This is Peach Moonstone. Some of these are really beautiful. Another crystal specifically I like to have with me is called labradorite. And labradorite, look at isn't that just so beautiful? Look how beautiful that is. It's gorgeous. Labradorite is a very, very protective stone. So it's very protective against negativity, negative energies that might want to come through. I've been doing some long distance work on someone recently, and I have found that using, I have another larger chunk of labradorite, using that labradorite where kind of like on the outline of what I'm doing for this person, for this long distance healing that I'm doing, helps keep what I'm doing, it helps protect what I'm doing. So it's able to reach him and not be distorted on the way. And anyway, labradorite is really a beautiful, fascinating, very magical looking stone. So if you don't have a piece of labradorite, I do highly suggest obtaining one. Just make sure you have a means of cleansing it, like either in smoke, or sometimes I'll use that big selenite wand I just showed you right here. And sometimes I'll just have him sit on a selenite wand overnight. I usually use my singing bowls because that not only charges but also, or it not only cleanses them but also charges them simultaneously. And I'll just pop it in there. It just takes a minute in the singing bowl. And then, yeah, with my little 7 stones here, they live in a selenite bowl, so they are always cleansed and ready to go. All right, so that is that for this first class, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.